Hare Krishna. Omagyatimiravisya chakshurunmelutam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Name. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Charine Nirvisare Punyadi Pastyatpade Jatani. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Yadvaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gauravaktavina. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare. Hare Krishna. Here, this chapter is very important because first section, what we have studied is how this knowledge is transmitted through parampara. So here, when Vidura asked Maitreya, Maitreya told, he gave the sequence. Kumaras, they learned it from Sankarshan from then there is uh, Sankyayana, he learned from the Kumaras, and then there is Parashara and Brahaspati, who learned from Sankyayana, and from there it came to Pulasya, and then further it is coming to Maitreya. Now, what is important here to understand is that how important it is to listening. In modern times, listening is increasingly replaced by reading. Although reading is also a form of listening because we read the words written on paper or on the net or on the screen. The words are given to our minds as sound. But there is a big difference between listening and reading also. The difference is the effect of sound on our consciousness. Because the effect of our conscious cannot be we have to we should know how important it is, how much it is affecting. Because all Vedic scriptures, originally any traditional culture, not only Vedic, is based on hearing. Any form of traditional culture is always transmitted orally. And Vedic culture is also no exception. Now, the most vivid proof of rule is that a person should listen and listen to someone who has gained spiritual experience as a result of his spiritual practice. Iti Shushmadhiranam. And the Upanishads also claim that a person should listen. And because not only information is transmitted along with hearing, people also, there is the consciousness is also transmitted. Now, unfortunately, people now perceive learning process as process of transmitting of information only or gaining some kind of information. And from the point of view of informative book, there will be much better, so much information. And here, people are going to net and getting so much information. But that time, not so much information, but whatever little they got, it was transforming them. But sound sometimes is actually, which is much more subtler, is transmitted. With the sound is transmitting spiritual experience also. And what we are learning with Bhagavatam is we are trying to gain that spiritual experience by hearing Bhagavatam, which is much. And sound conveys also emotions. That is another important. Whereas sound written, record in form of letter and words to a large extent loses its emotional component because it's not possible to record emotions, right? And that's why when we say Krishna, we can say Krishna emotionally, we can say Krishna calmly. And that will be having a different effect because sound will contain something more. All truly authentic cultures, they took into account the importance of the impact of sound on the consciousness. It is said that there are 72,000 nadis or channels in our body. And all these 72,000, they are nerve channels. They are the channels of energy. Prana moves through this body, through these channels. And it is said that sound, first of all, affects them. Sound affects what? Our nadis, that 70,000. Therefore, sometimes we hear some sound and our hair is standing on end. And even though there is a glow on the skin, because the sound is included in the channels. When the sound works, there is stotriya. This is the channel. There is a ear. Like the vibration enters in each channel. We listen not only with our ears, we listen to everything. We listen through our skin also. Therefore, music thus affects. Like hairs are standing on it. Where are the ears on the body? But it is affecting. So depending on the rhythm, depending on the pitch, a person perceives something, and in the end, it is penetrating deeper into his heart. Whereas if we read, all these penetrations they are very superficial. It has some effect, but not that much effect. Therefore, the first principle of parampara is hearing. That's what is explained in the first part of it. Hearing recording is also little different. It has some effect, but not so much as they are directly hearing from the person. Because along with sound, a spiritual experience is transmitted to a person, and along with the sound, a person's heart responds to this sound. Therefore, music that affects a person, depending on the rhythm, pitch, and all these things, right? And it is said that in the Kurukshetra battle, differently sounded. Like Bhishma, he blew his shell, conch shell. Although it was sound of a conch shell, the heart of Kauravas rejoiced. When Krishna blew his shell, the heart of Kauravas fell off their heel. So they fell from their heel. They were very. Now both are same sound only, na? Both are the sound of a conch. Why it has a different effect? Because there is a consciousness involved. Each person has a certain tendency to listen to certain sounds. There are people who like to listen to classical music, and there are other people who fall asleep. Some people are inspired by classical, and because they have some emotions in their bodies, while others simply fall asleep if they're hearing classical music. But this person is having some. And same thing, somebody with rock music, somebody will run away, others are responding, the heart. No, because the heart is uh, covered with various degrees and different sounds, depending on the coverage of human heart, responds differently. Okay. And when we see the effect of sound in the Kurukshetra battle, and similarly, when Krishna blew his Panchajanya and there was miscarriage in the wife of demons, it is said. The wives of demonic people having heard the sound, and it is said that the demons they left the bodies of the wombs of their mothers. Now, the sound of holy name of Krishna also has so much effect. Now, here we are trying to understand this parampara means why it is explained, because that is how. And Srimad Bhagavatam, the sound of Bhagavad Gita is not different from the sound of the name of Krishna. It is all the sound of name of Krishna only. For the person whose heart is wicked, it is like a prison. They cannot hear. When a person commits ungodly acts, that's what actually that shloka calls. And sinful acts, this sinful makes a person's heart weak. And a weak heart does not withstand vibration, the sound itself. And a person who is very righteous, For him, this sound is very, very inspiring. When he hears the words of Holy Scripture, sounds of name of Krishna, his heart becomes stronger and is full of enthusiasm. This is actually what is the effect of sound. Like there are so many such nice pastimes and stories. But we'll come here. Brahmaji, sorry, Vidura is told by Maitreya Muni about the creation. Now he is learning by sound only. He did not see. Maitreya did not see, but everybody is learning it by hearing. And this is the process, and it has effect on our consciousness. So this starts the story from here, and this is very interesting thing. And more we hear, more we realize. Now, important here is it is not some any material item. These are sorry, they are not very gross. This is so subtle we cannot even uh, conceive with our intelligence. It is not possible sometimes to understand. But to help us understand something, there is relative things are. Now, if I say this water, Garbhodaka water, Lord is lying, this is when the three words are submerged in water. This is not the water which we are seeing here. This is much more subtler. Like I explained previously also. Like if you take any atom, then there is the electron part, which is called the earth part. And say if you take a atom of a water molecule or any other molecule, all the five elements are there. That is very subtler thing. And then the binding force between the electrons or whatever this nucleus is actually the water element. And when you try to separate them, like we have nuclear reactions, how nuclear reaction happens, you are trying to separate the nucleus, and immediately there is a explosion. And this is actually called, and this is the fire element. And then the electrons are moving. This is air element. And then there is occupying some space. This is ether. That means if you take any molecule, water molecule or air molecule or earth molecule, any molecule which you are seeing around, if you take atom, all the five elements are there in it. That is the subtler elements. That is actually what is explained here. That is what is covering the universe. Otherwise, if you have what you are seeing, the solid part is covering the universe, nothing 10 times that of the size, we will not be able to see anything. But it is not like that. It is subtler. That's why we are able to see the Brahma Jyoti is coming as blue color in the sky. Now, when the three worlds were submerged in water, Garbhodaksha Vishnu was alone, lying on his bedstead. The great snake Ananta, and although Garbhodaksha Vishnu appears to be slumber in his own internal potency, free from actions of external energy, his eyes were not completely closed. He is Yoga Nidra. Now, this is a state of Turiya. Even when we go into deep sleep state, that is a very pleasurable state. Everybody, we go into deep sleep state where we don't experience any emotions. We don't identify ourselves with body. We are completely peaceful. It's the state of Atma. We all get this deep sleep every day for few, maybe 1 hour, 2 hour like that. Otherwise, we don't get energy. We gain all our energy because of the deep sleep state. If a person does not sleep for say 1 week, 10 days, then he will completely go mad because he needs that energy which comes from the soul. Now, that is a very, we may say it is boring, but it is not boring state. It is a very, very pleasurable state. Just like the strength of fire within fuel wood, the Lord remains within the water of dissolution, submerging all the living entities in their subtle bodies, lay in the self invigorated energy called Kala. Now he lay in Kala, And next shloka explains the Lord lying down for 1,000 cycle of 4 yugas in internal potency, and by his external energy, he appeared to be sleeping within the water. When the living entity are coming out for further development of their fruitive activities, acuted by the energy called Kala Shakti, he saw his transcendental body as bluish. This is Prabhupada, right? This is, we have read, we'll just read. This is nice purport. Manishma, the Kala Shakti is mentioned as avidya. This is ignorance, which is needed. The symptoms of influence of Kala Shakti is that one has to work in the material world for fruitive results. Actually, Kala Shakti does many things for us. First thing is make us identify with the body. That is the energy. I am not body, I am not mind, I am spirit soul. But there is a force that is making us identify that and experience the pleasure and pain. That is the problem. As such, soul is Sachidananda, blissful. And matter does not have any emotions. It is dead. And the combination is a problem, right? We are all suffering because of that combination. And who does that who does the job of combining? That is called this Maya. We have to get rid of it. The connection is that false ego, very strongly holding us. And because of which, what is the symptom of the influence of Kal Shakti is one has to work in the material world for fruitive results. For Lord, natasya karyam karanam vidyate. Lord is saying, oh, there is no work for me to do. Why, why we need to do work? Because of first reason is we feel incompleteness. I feel I lack something and we want to fulfill that. Actually, we are like Krishna only and we try to replace it with many things. Maybe I need a washing machine, I need a big villa, I need some car, I need mobile, or whatever we are needing. That incompleteness is because we all need Krishna. That is first thing. But for Lord, there is nothing to do because there is nothing incomplete. Everything is His own. And then there are certain desires to fulfill and certain pleasure to experience. We want to avoid suffering and we want to experience pleasure. These are the two other reasons for our working. I feel that there are some things which are not good for me. I have to avoid. I have obesity. Now I have to work hard to get rid of it. Or I need certain desires to fulfill, certain pleasures to experience. Then I have to work hard. And that is what is this material world. The Maya, the Kala Shakti, the Avidya makes a person work hard in this world, no matter who he is. We may think, oh, he's so rich, he's so wealthy, he's fabulously rich. But no option for him. Why? He'll always feel there is incompleteness for him because he don't have Krishna. Second is, he will have some things which you don't want and you want to experience certain pleasures. Because three things are there, even the big celebrities and all, they have to maintain their physique properly. So they have to do their workouts. They cannot just sit and eat. They'll get obesity and and if you have obesity, then you have the problems related to it. There are certain diseases you get. Even you have so much money, you cannot enjoy because you have to maintain the body also, right? It is not possible in this world. You have to work hard. They have to work hard to maintain certain relations. So many things are. The fruitive workers are described in the Bhagavad Gita as moodas or fools. Such foolish living entities are very enthusiastic to work for some temporary benefits within the perpetual bondage. One thinks himself very clever throughout his life if he is able to leave behind him a great asset of wealth for his children. And to achieve this temporary benefit, he takes the risk of all kinds of sinful activities without knowledge that such acts will keep him perpetually bound with cycles of material bondage. Like my mother says, I have to give something to my grandchildren. What they'll think, what did my grandmother give to me? So I should give them. She saves some money and she want to give some jewelry to her granddaughter's marriage. because she feels that my granddaughter should know that no, my grandmother gave something to me. Now they feel this is that we have to, this they feel as the pride, and they feel it's a success in life that I have done something for my family. But this is due to this polluted mentality and due to all the sins, the aggregate combination of living entities appears to be bluish. The chance impetus of activity for fruitive results is made possible by the dictation of external energy called Kala Shakti. Very nicely explained. This all sins are seen as bluish, and it is all Kala Shakti. Sometimes Kali is also colored as bluish color. Sometimes it is like very fearful bluish color. तस्यार्थसूक्ष्माभिनिविष्टदृष्टे अन्तर्गतोऽर्थो रजसातनीया गुणेन कालानुगतेन विद्ध सूक्ष्मस्तदाभ्यतनाभिदेशान्. The subtle subject matters of creation on which the Lord's attention was fixed was agitated by the material mood of passion, and thus the subtle form of creation pierced through his abdomen. This is very important. The subtle form of creation, it is not gross, it is so subtle. That means the lotus flower, what we are seeing here, the lotus flower which came from the body of Garbhodaksha Vishnu are not same. It's a subtle form. The subtle subject matter on which Lord's attention was fixed. That means when Lord pays attention, then only there will be some creation. Otherwise, it just remains like that. Lord paid attention, was agitated with metal mode of fashion. This is that means the ego should enter to make the activity perform. Sapadnakosha sahasoditashta kalena karma pratibodhanena sarochishatat shalidam vishalam vidyottyayan arka ivatmayoni. Piercing to the Lord's abdomen, the sum total form of fruitive activities of living entities took the shape of bud of lotus flowers, generated from the personality of Vishnu, and by his supreme will, it illuminated everything, like the sun, and dried up the vast waters of devastation. Piercing the Lord. This is the sum total form of fruitive activities of living entity. It became the lotus flower. That means sum total of fruitive activities means this is their karma. And karma is how karma means impressions. And impressions means that is the memory. That is what is chitta. Like that. Took the shape of a bud of lotus flower generated from. This is the informational sphere. What is the main difference between a dead matter and a conscious living entity, the soul is? We have information. Now, this table cannot have any memory. We can have. Now, when I say laptop is heavy, but it is, that's why but it is not conscious. That is another problem with it. It has memory. Conscious memory we have, whereas laptop cannot have. It has memories. And the most powerful computers which can store maximum memory. And we are like that. We have consciously so much memory. And that is what is when the creation happens, all these things are kept in one place. Oh, it's a universal memory. Like we have internet. Internet is like universal information. Similarly, all the information, whatever I got impressions, whatever you got, he got, she got, everything is stored at one place. And that forms the sum total of fruitive activities of living entity. And that took the shape of a bud of lotus flower generated from personality of Godhead. And by his supreme will, it illuminated everything like the sun and dried up the vast waters of devastation. Tallokapadmam sau eva Vishnu pravivishat sarvagunavabhasam tasmai swayam vedamayo vidata swayam bhuvam yam savidanti so. Into that universal lotus flower, Lord Vishnu personally entered as a super soul, and when it was thus impregnated with all the modes of material nature, the personality of Vedic wisdom, whom we call the self born, was generated. Now, what happens is personally entered super soul because he has to activate it and thus impregnated with all the modes of nature. Now, it is quite difficult to conceive what is happening there, but we can understand. Okay, this generation is because of the sum total of all fruitive activities. This lotus flower in the universal Virata form or the gigantic form of the Lord in the material world. It becomes amalgamated in the personality of Godhead Vishnu in his abdomen at the time of dissolution. So Virat Rupa is dissolved into the body of Garbhodaksha Vishnu and it becomes manifested in the time of creation. This is due to Garbhodaksha Vishnu who enters into each of the universe. In this form is the sum total of all fruitive activities of living entities conditioned by material nature. And the first of them, namely Brahma, or the controller of the universe, is generated from this lotus flower. This firstborn living being, unlike all the other, have no material father and thus is called self-born or Swayambhu. He goes to sleep with Narayana at the time of devastation, and when there is another creation, he is born in this way. After this description, we have the conception of three entities: the gross Virata form, the subtle Hiranyagarbha, and the material creative force Brahma. Now, three things. Here, the subtle form which is created, and then there is gross Virata form. Gross Virata form means all the things which you are seeing around, that is Virata form. And now, to make this function, there is Brahmaji, who is sitting there and doing all the job. He is taking the subtle elements and creating the gross things. This is the creating force. The lotus flower is a universal Virata form. So this is gross. And the subtle form, the subtle subject matters of creation on which the Lord's attention was fixed was agitated by material mode of passion, and the subtle form of creation pierced through his abdomen. So there is a subtle form which is sum total of all fruitive activities of living entities, took the shape of a bird. So first the subtle form is the sum total of all fruitive activities of living entity. And into the universal lotus flower, Lord personally entered as super soul, and when it was thus impregnated with all the modes of nature, the personality of Vedic wisdom was called the self-born was generated. So then Brahma was generated. And then it is said, so the lotus flower in the universal Virat form is a gigantic form of Lord in material world. It becomes amalgamated personality of Godhead in the abdomen at the time of dissolution and becomes manifest at the time of creation. Thus, due to Garbhodaksha Vishnu, he enters into each and every universe. Now, what we are seeing around is the universal form, is Sahasra Sirsha Purusha. Second is the Brahma who is creating. And the subtle Hiranyagarbha form is the sum total fruitive activities of all the living entities, that subtle form. So three forms. These living entities are in this, all the living entities and subtle forms are here. Gross form, which is manifested around, and the creative force. Three things, clear? No? तस्यां सचाम्बोरुहकं कर्णिकायाम् अविस्थितो लोक अपया अपश्यमान परिक्रमन् योमिन् विवृतनेत्रस् चत्वारि लेभेनुदिशं मुखानि. Brahma, born out of the lotus flower, could not see the world, although he was situated in the world. He therefore circumambulated all of space, and while moving his eyes in all directions, he achieved four heads in terms of four directions. Tasmad yuganta swashanavago kruran जलोर्मिचक्रात् सलिलाद्विरूढम् उपाश्रितः हञ्जम उलोकतत्त्वम् नात्मानमद्धाविदि आदिदेव. Lord Brahma, situated in that lotus, could not perfectly understand the creation. The lotus or himself, at the end of millennium, the air of devastation began to move the water and the lotus in great circular waves. First, Brahma had to face some very bad situations. First thing is he could not perfectly understand. Second is there was so much movement, devastation. Brahma was perplexed about his creation, the lotus and the world, even though he tried to understand them for 1 millennium, which is beyond calculation in the solar years of human beings. No one can therefore know the mystery of creation and the cosmic manifestation simply by mental speculation. The human being is so limited in his capacity that without the help of the Supreme, he can hardly understand the mystery of creation, continuance and destruction of the cosmos by the will of Lord. It is not possible for us to understand with our speculation how the creation came. Even if it is explained, to understand is also very difficult. Half of the thing we cannot conceive how it is, how is it. But we understand, okay, that's it. And what happens is there will be realization. When the chitta becomes pure, then we can pursue all these things directly. That is very much possible. To the degree a person is pure, to the degree he is able to get access. Ka esha yosvahamabja prishta eto etat kuto vabja ananyadapso astiya adhasta iha kinchanaitat adishtitam yatra satai no bhavam. Lord Brahma, in his ignorance, contemplated, who am I, situated on top of this lotus? What is this solitary lotus on the vast ocean, and where from it is sprouted? There must be something downwards, and that for which the lotus has grown must be within the water. This is what Brahmaji is the test for Brahma. Just came, he's alone, and he's trying to figure it out. Now, Prabhupada writes, the subject matter of speculation of Brahma in the beginning regarding the creation of cosmic manifestation is still a subject matter for mental speculators. The most intelligent man who try to find the cause of his personal existence and that of the whole cosmic creation and try to find the ultimate cause, if his attempt is properly executed with penance and perseverance, it is sure to be crowned with success. This is what is nice point Prabhupada makes. We want to know, what we see the world is based on our own experience. That means the chitta has certain experiences Based on that only we see the world. Now, what yoga process do? They perform penances and perseverance and all these things to cure the chitta from all the impressions, which is called chitta vritti nirodha. When the chitta is cleared, then the chitta can perceive the world as it is. It will be having the reflection of the world. This is what is needed. Like in the Rig Veda, there is light, speed of light is given. Now, there is no any modern gadgets or any laboratories or anything to test. How did they get that? Because their chitta is very pure. And that is actually what is explained here. If our attempt is properly executed, instead of trying to understand the world with my own impure consciousness, impure chitta, which has all these impressions, we perceive like that only. So if I see this world, like I feel, oh, there will be so much uh, biased. I say India is good because I'm Indian. I have these impressions. For me, Pakistan is not good. Of course, for me it's okay, but many Indians, Pakistan is not good. That means he already have this stuff. So even anything good in Pakistan, he may not be able to see it because he is already, if he's a very fundamental, uh, fundamental religiousness of Indian. So same thing with Pakistan person. He is a fundamental Muslim person. He may not like it. Say here. That means unless we clear our chitta, it is not possible to get the real understanding, real truth. Right? स इत्थमुद्वीक्ष्य तदब्जमाला नादीभिरन्तजलमाविवेश नार्वाङ्गतस्तत्करनालनाल नाभिं विचिन्वंस्तदभिनन्दिताज. Lord Brahma, thus contemplating, entered the waters through the channel of the stem of the lotus. But in spite of entering the stem and going near the navel of Lord, he could not trace out the root. Because Lord is more subtler, so Brahma cannot understand. He is using intelligence, and Lord is spiritual. With intelligence which is gross, how can we understand a subtle thing? Say now I want to understand about my mind. I cannot see only because my eyes are gross and mind is subtle. And much more subtle is buddhi. So we cannot, and much more subtle is ego. It's so difficult to conceive with our material things. By dint of one's personal endeavor, one may go nearer to the Lord, but without the Lord's mercy, one cannot reach the ultimate point. Such understanding of Lord is possible only by devotional service, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Bhaktyamam vijanati yavan ischasmi tattvataha. Right? तस्तमस्य अपारे विदुरात्मसर्गम् विचिन्वतो भूत्सुमहांस्त्रिनेमे यो देहबाजां भयमीर्ययान् परीक्षिणोत्यायुरजस्य हेति. Vidura, after searching for the cause of his existence in that way, Brahma reached his ultimate time. Time is the eternal wheel in the hand of Vishnu and generates the fear of death in the mind of living entities. Kalosmi lokakshekito. This is different energies of Lord. Of course, this is also, Durga is also called Kala. She also destroys and it causes fear. Tato nivitto pralilabdha kama swadishnayam asadya punasadeve sanirjita swasa nivitta chitto nishadi tad aruda Samadhi Yoga. Thereafter, being unable to achieve the desired destination, he retired from such searching and came back upon the again to the top of the lotus. Thus, controlling his breathing, he concentrated his mind on the Supreme Lord. So, this is the point. What is important is how much we are able to concentrate. The success of life is how much we are able to concentrate. Even materially also. The success, material success comes from concentration, spiritual. And now to concentrate, we need to have pure consciousness and especially to concentrate on Lord. That means a person should emotionally have that effect. Then for him to concentrate becomes easy. Like if a person has a goal and is very emotionally attached to the goal, then he will definitely achieve it. Generally what happens is person keeps a goal, but only the goal should be in front of his eyes whole day. Then only it is his goal. Otherwise it is just anyway, that is not. But here the main point here is concentration. Samadhi involves concentrating the mind upon the supreme cause of all, even if one is unaware of whether his actual nature is personal, impersonal, localization. Concentration of mind on the Supreme is certainly a form of devotional service. To cease from personal sense endeavor and to concentrate on the Supreme cause is a sign of self surrender. And when self surrender is present, that is a sure sign of devotional service. Each and every living entity needs to engage in devotional service to the Lord if he wishes to understand the ultimate cause of his existence. What he needed? Need to engage in devotional service, and this is a form of devotional service is what? To concentrate the mind of Supreme. Then what happens? If he wishes to understand the ultimate cause of existence, that is possible. कालेन सोजा पुरुषायुषाभि प्रवृत्तयोगेन विरूढबोध स्वयं तदन्तर्हृदये विभातम् अपश्यतापश्यत तन्यन्न पूर्वम्. At the end of Brahma's 100 years, when his meditation was complete, he developed the required knowledge, and as a result, he could see within his heart the Supreme, whom he could not see before with the greatest endeavor. So basically, Brahma was told to concentrate, and that is what we all need to do, concentrate. And then, what is the success? Then he could understand the Lord. The Supreme Lord can be experienced only through the process of devotional service, not by one's personal endeavor in mental speculation. The age of Brahma is calculated and this is what is explained about Brahma's age. One has to wait for the mercy of Lord before one can either render service unto him or know him as he is. Nirmala Gaurayata Bhoga Prayanke Eka Purusham Sayanam Panata Patrayuta Mudharatam Ratna Dubhirhata Dvanta Yuganta Toye. Brahma could see that on the water there was a gigantic lotus like white bedspread, the body of Sheshnaga, or which the personality of Godhead was lying on. The whole atmosphere was illuminated by rays of jewels bedecked the hoods of Sheshana, and that illumination dissipated all the darkness of those regions. So now what Brahmaji is seeing, the description comes. Brahmaji is getting darshan of Lord for the first time. What all he is seeing. So first he saw this. A gigantic lotus-like white bedshed, the body of Sheshanag. And he says, Preksham Kshipantam Harito Paladre Sandhyar Birni Ver Ururu Ma'odna रत्नोधरारुलसदिसन्तु मन्नस्य वनसृजो वेणभुजाग्रिपाङ्ग्रे. The lustre of the transcendental body of Lord mocked the beauty of Coral Mountain. I don't know, Coral Mountain. The Coral Mountain is very beautifully dressed in the evening sky, but the yellow dress of the Lord mocked its beauty. So it is yellow color coral. There is gold on the summit of mount, but the Lord's helmet, bedaub, with jewels mocked it. The mountains, waterfalls, herbs, etc., with a panorama of flowers seem like garlands, but the Lord's gigantic body and his hands and legs decorated with jewels, pearls, tulsi leaves, and flower garlands mark the ascents on the mountain. Mark the scene. Now, this is a very, we don't know, but we can imagine. Nature's panoramic beauty, which strikes one with wonder, may be taken as a perverted reflection of transcendental body of the Lord. Even the reflection is so beautiful, the original, how beautiful it will be. One is therefore attracted to the beauty of Lord, is no longer attracted by the beauty of metal nature. If you see the original, why you will like the duplicate? Like if somebody has direct, he gets a very beautiful, like children use, they play with toy car, toy mobile. If we get original, why the children will be interested in the toys now? The parents, they give the original mobile. The child will not like the toy mobile anymore. He will start playing with. Uh, so one who is therefore attracted by the beauty of Lord is no longer attracted by the beauty of matter nature, although he does not minimize its beauty. In the Bhagavad Gita, it explains that one who is attracted by Param, the Supreme, is no longer attracted by anything inferior. Param drishtva nivartate. Ayamato vistarata swamana dehena lokatraya sangrahena विचित्र दिव्याभरणा सुकाना कृतश्रियापाष्टिवेशदेहम्. His transcendental body, unlimited in length and beauty, occupied the three planetary systems, upper, middle, and lower. His body was self-illuminated by unparalleled dress and variegated and was properly ornamented. Prabhupada writes, the length and width of the transcendental body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead could only be measured by his own measurement because he is all pervading throughout the complete cosmic manifestation. The beauty of material nature is due to his personal beauty, yet he is always magnificently dressed and ornamented to prove his transcendental variegatedness, which is so important in the advancement of spiritual knowledge. Nice point. The beauty of material nature is due to his personal beauty. Whatever beauty you are seeing, it is the personal beauty of Lord. And he is also magnificently dressed and ornamented to prove his transcendental variety. While Lord should decorate so gorgeously, because you want to show spiritual world is full of varieties. And now the problem with the scientists is they cannot see all these things. They say we used all big telescopes and all, but nothing is near to what is explained in Bhagavatam. Why? Because it's all very subtle. What scientists see is very gross. Even if they are using the telescope and all, ultimately they have to use their eyes to see, which cannot perceive this, which is very subtle. I cannot see my mind, I cannot see my buddhi, I cannot see my ego. Eyes cannot see. So all these things are so subtle, which is Brahma's body is made of buddhi. So how can we see? How can we understand? पुंसां स्वकाम्या विविक्तमार्गैः अभ्यर्चितां कर्मदुगाङ्घ्रिपद्मम् प्रदर्शयन्तं कृपया न खेदु मया कलभिन्न गुलिचारुप्रीतं charupatram. He says the Lord showed his lotus feet by raising them. His lotus feet are the source of all awards achieved by those who worship him in pure devotional service, free from all metal contamination. Splendid transcendental rays emanate from his moon-like toenails and the nails of his petali fingers. The Lord, Prabhupada writes, the Lord fulfills the desire of everyone just as one desires. That means all desires are fulfilled. Only thing is it takes time. Pure devotees are interested in achieving the transcendental service of Lord, which is not different from. So at least once we should seriously desire, my dear Lord, I want to serve you. And Lord will fulfill that also. Therefore, the Lord is the only desire of the pure devotees, and devotional service is the only spotless process for achieving this favor. Here, Rupa Goswami says in Bhaktirasamad Sindhu that pure devotional service is Janma Karmadhya Jnana Karmadhya Anavritam. Pure devotional service is without any tinges of speculative knowledge or fruitive activities. Lord Brahma could understand the transcendental form of Sri Krishna in the dress of a cowherd boy. Thus, Brahma recorded his experience in the Brahma Samhita, their famous prayers whose verses end with the word Govinda Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. मुखेन लोका हृतिहर स्मितेन परिस्फुटैर्कुण्डलमण्डितेन सोनायितेनाधरबिम्बभास प्रत्यायन्तं सुनसेन सुकृ. The description of Lord, no, it is given in all the cantos, in different avatars, different forms Lord appears. Why we hear? Because that will change our heart, purify our heart. The chitta will, cheto darpana marjana will have. With this beautiful smile, the Lord acknowledges the service of the devotees and vanquish their distress. That is the purpose of his smile. His face was so pleasing, reflecting his dazzling earrings, and the rays emanating from his lips, and enhanced by the beauty of his nose and eyebrows. Prabhupada, right? Devotional service to Lord is very much obliging him. There are many transcendentalists in different fields of spiritual activities, but devotional services of Lord is unique. Devotees do not ask anything from the Lord in exchange for their service. Even the most desirable liberation is refuted by devotees, although offered by the Lord. Thus, the Lord becomes a kind of devoter to the devotees, and he can only try to repay the devotee's service with his ever enhancing smile. The devotee are very satisfied by the smiling face of the Lord, and they become enlivened. And by seeing the devotees so enlivened, the Lord himself is further satisfied. So there is a continuous transcendental competition between the Lord and his devotees by such reciprocation of service and acknowledgement. We'll take one. Kabanda kinjal kapashangavasas swalang me khalayani tambe हारेण चानन्तदननेन वत्स श्रीवत्सवक्षः स्थलवल्लभेन. O my dear Vidra, the Lord's waist was covered with yellow clothes resembling the saffron dust of the Kadamba flowers, and it was encircled by a well-decorated belt. His chest was decorated with Sivatsa mark and a necklace of unlimited value. पाराद्य केयूरमणिप्रवेक प्रयत्सधो दण्डसहस्रसाक्षम् अव्यक्तमूलं भुवनाङ्घ्रिपेत्थम् अहाद्रिभोगैरधिवीतवल्सम्. As a sandalwood tree is decorated with fragrant flowers and branches, the Lord's body was decorated with valuable jewels and pearls. He was the self situated tree, the Lord of all others in the universe. And as a sandalwood tree is covered with many snakes, so the Lord's body was also decorated by the hoods of Anantadev. So this Balram Shakti Prabhu discussed this very elaborately. Prabhupada writes the word Avyakta Moolam is significant here. Generally, no one can see the roots of a tree, but as far as the Lord is concerned, He is the root of Himself because there is no other separate cause of His standing but Him. In the Vedas, it is said that the Lord is Swashrayashraya. He is His own support, and there is no other support for Him. Therefore, Avyakta means the Supreme Lord Himself and no one else. We'll just take the last one. चराचरौक भगवन्महीधरम् अहीन्द्रबन्धुं शैलोपगूढम् किरीटसाहस्रहिरण्यसङ्ग्रम् आविर्भवत्कौस्तुभरत्नगर्भ. Like a great mountain, the Lord stands as the abode for all moving and non-moving living entities. He is the friend of snakes because Lord Ananta is his friend. As a mountain has thousands of golden peaks, so the Lord was seen with thousands of golden helmeted hoods of Anantanaga. And as a mountain is sometimes filled with jewels, so also his transcendental body was fully decorated with valuable jewels. As a mountain is sometimes submerged in the ocean water, so the Lord is sometimes submerged in the water of devastation. Thank you all very much. We'll continue tomorrow. Tantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Or Chimpaklata Mataji. Yes, Mataji, you have some question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranams.
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, you were talking about our incompleteness without Krishna.
Yeah.
So, is there any Shastric injunction, Prabhuji? Any shloka from Bhagavatam or any other scripture about it, Prabhuji?
Actually, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells the purpose of a person's working. In that, it is understood like that a person is working because when Lord says, I don't have anything to work, and when he says that living entity is forced to work, he says in third chapter, he is explaining that we are forced to work. So in that, we can understand what is that force that is driving. So, and also, when Krishna is telling, you will get this benefit, you get this benefit, you work, you get this benefit, all these things are the motivation. So, of course, there is an explanation. Dukkha pravritti Dukkha nivritti and Sukha pravritti. This is what is the motivation. We want to enhance our pleasure and reduce the pain. This is one motivation. Another motivation is because there is incompleteness, and that incompleteness, where it is explained, even Prahalad also explains that there is an incompleteness in us which is forcing us to work in this world. We want to complete ourselves, but the completeness is only so. That's why he says that Nate vidu swartha katim hi Vishnu, or swartha is Vishnu, but durashaye bahirarthamanina. But not knowing, we are trying to search him outside. So the incompleteness is not having that connection with Krishna. We are searching it outside. So in that way, we understand.
Which shloka is this, Prabhuji? Reference can
Prahlad Maharaj, this he says in 7th canto.
Durashaye, what is that, Prabhuji? Can you?
Nate vidu swartha katim hi Vishnu, durashaye bahirarthamanina.
Okay. Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Grajavalli Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji Dandattana
Then,
Prabhuji, in this chapter 14th sloka, here mentioned Prabhuji that the lotus dried up the vast water of the devastation. And in 17th sloka, the Brahma saw that all the lotus flower is moving in that water. How can we understand, Prabhuji?
the because Lord is making it move. So this is actually what is happening. So there is the lotus is agitated because Lord wants it that way. Means there will be some. What happens is when Markandeya Rishi, he also enters into the ocean of devastation. He also sees everything is moving. So maybe the lotus is moving and the waves are coming. Even Brahma goes inside. We don't know why it is happening. And I told that is not water like this water. That is a subtle water. So we don't know. It is explained like that only.
Okay,
Why
thank you,
it's
Prabhuji.
happening, we don't know. And evaporating the water of devastation, that is also not clearly explained. Maybe if I find out some other reference, I will let you know what it is means. It is evaporating. Of course, evaporating in the sense means when there is a partial devastation, like at the time of Brahma's day ends, he sleeps. Or till Swargaloka, all the planetary systems are in devastation. So when he wakes up, then all the water goes down to Garbhodaksha Vishnu, then all the planets again appear. So in that way, it is evaporating the water. Like that also we can understand.
Okay, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, one more question, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, Brahma is also again means every day Brahma is taking birth again and again.
No. Every time that he has to create, like say you sleep in the night, everything is destroyed. No house, nothing. You have to again wake up and create your house, create your family, everything. So it happens with Brahma every day.
But,
As soon as he sleeps, he loses everything. He has to create everything from zero.
but every day Brahma is forgetting everything, na Prabhuji.
No. Every day he does not forget. It depends. Because, of course, every day he needs knowledge from the Lord. Every day knowledge, Lord enlightens him. He sleeps, he gets up, Lord has to enlighten him. He may not do so much tapasya. Like we hear this, why Lord is called Madhusudana, because he killed this demon Madhu and Kaitava. So they stole the intelligence, they stole the Vedas from the intelligence of Brahma. Then Lord has to come as Hamsa Avatara, Hayagriva to enlighten the Brahma. So every time he comes in different incarnations to enlighten Brahma also. He comes as Hayagriva, sometimes he is enlightening, and then he explains this Pancharatra to Brahma in 5 nights. Like that. So there is Brahma also needs this enlightenment, and which is given by the Lord regularly. And every time he needs either through and he in Brahmaloka there is the form of Lord who is Sahasra Shirsha Purusha. He is there, that form of Lord, and every day Brahma worships, offers him, and he enlightens. Okay,
Then,
thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Then what is the meaning of Brahma's age 100 years means what, Prabhuji? I'm not understanding. Means just like means every day he is taking birth and is
No.
again
Like
forgetting everything.
100 years means in 100 years he has every year has 12 months. And 12 months, every month has 30 days. That means Brahma has so many days in his life. So one day is 1000 Divyugas. So
Yes.
when we are talking about one day of Brahma, that means 1000 Divyugas form. Then Brahma sleeps for 1000 Divyugas. Again he gets up, again he creates. One day is over. Second day like that. Third day. That is 30 days is 1 month. And 12 months is 1 year. And like that, 100 years is Brahma's day. That means how many thousands and thousands of times he's creating. You're understanding? Every day
Yeah.
he has to create. Every day he has to create. He gets up, he creates. Again sleeps, everything is lost. Again gets up, creates. But the time is so big, it does not like 1000 Divyugas. Na? It's a big time.
But what is the meaning of this 100 years life, Prabhuji? Then, if our life is 50 years, some 100 years means we know everything yesterday's also. Then, but Brahma is forgetting every day. Then, what is the meaning of 100 years of his life, Prabhuji? Means only same soul is continuing. That is only the meaning.
Yeah. He's getting that opportunity. Means the living entities are given opportunity, and with the help of Brahma, they are getting opportunities. The living entity gets opportunity to is again and given opportunity by the Lord to utilize their free will to go towards the Lord. So every time he gives that opportunity. But living entity, he tries for 100 years of Brahma. Whoever clears the exam, they go to spiritual world. Others remain like that. And Lord Mahavishnu, he says, okay, enough. He takes everything into his body.
Oh,
And uh, for 100-year lifetimes of Brahma, so long, he just sleeps in Yoga Nidra. Again, he feels that maybe I'm a little bored. Of course, Lord is, then he says, okay, let me again start. Again, he creates all the Brahmandas, all the Brahmas are born. And again, all the living entities are given the opportunity. And then they utilize, they enjoy, they suffer, and some go to spiritual world, some continue to remain there. Again, Lord takes back. So it's like Bhutva Praliyate. Lord is creating. He feels, sometimes it is said that a husband is like, he feels that he needs a wife. He wants some experience. So Lord also is trying to enjoy. It is his Leela. He creates, he dissolves, he creates, again he enjoys. He is the enjoyer. So this is how he is enjoying. And Garbhodakshay Vishnu also, he gives one day for Brahma. He sees how living entity are doing. So Garbhodakshay Vishnu is also enjoying by devastating till Swargaloka, everything is destroyed. Garbhodakshay Vishnu, of course, there's the same person. Garbhodakshay Vishnu and Chirul, the same Paramatma only. So this is the basically it's an opportunity given to the living entities, and Lord is also enjoying in that way. He comes, performs some leelas, goes back, comes in different avataras. So Lord is Rasaraj. So he wanted to experience that pleasure, and he experiences in different ways. So creation is a pastime of the Lord, but it is not the pastime in the spiritual world. That is much more sweeter. In this is also he wanted to one of the pastime of the Lord is he wanted to show compassion to living entities. That is the pastime of Lord. He experiences pleasure in showing he is Leelamai and he is Karunamai. So when he's showing Karuna to living entities, that also he gets some sort of one experience he gets. So, and he creates, he destroys. So one lifetime of Brahma is he creates for 100 years of Brahma. That is the time, and then again gone. Yeah, it's a good thing to like. This is the question asked by many of the conversations you get in Bhagavatam. Why Lord is doing this? Then they say, yeah, Lord is doing his Leela. It's not,
ప్రభుజీ కాదు ప్రభుజీ అంటే మనం పడుకోవడానికి చనిపోవడానికి తేడా ఏంటో అర్థం కావట్లేదు.
oh, acha. The difference, Mataji, the ego does not change. When you die, your ego changes. But when you sleep, you have the same ego when you get up.
Oh.
You have a different body and different ego when we die. But when you sleep, when you wake up, you continue with the same ego. Like I woke up in the morning, so I know I am so and so. But when I die, I have a different body with different ego. So that is the main difference.
బ్రహ్మ అదే కదా ప్రభుజీ, నెక్స్ట్ డే లేసి ఆయనకి ఏం తెలియట్లేదు.
No, he remembers, but he has to create. He knows he is Brahma, but he has to create. He is not forgetting. After 100, when he dies, then that is a different question. But every day he is remembering. In this case, he is born now. He is not. He will be there in Satyaloka, but he is sleeping. He wakes up. But in this case, he is born. That's why there is the difference. From the lotus, he is born, but at the end of Kalpa, he is only sleeping and getting up. Other sages, so many other sages, they also go to sleep and they also get up along with Brahma.
ఓకే ప్రభుజీ.
Hare
హరే కృష్ణ. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.